Landon Carter is the epitome of adolescent popularity. He's handsome in that effortless way, with an aloofness that makes him both untouchable and envied. His days are filled with pranks parties and the same group of sarcastic friends who value appearances over substance. Landon comes from privilege. His mother is attentive but unable to truly reach him, and his father, a successful cardiologist, is virtually absent. Landon hides his pain and aimlessness behind rebellion and apathy. In stark contrast is Jamie Sullivan, the daughter of Reverend Sullivan, the town's well respected Baptist minister. Jamie is a senior too, but she's an outsider in every way. She wears simple clothes, rarely wears makeup, and is often seen with her nose in a Bible. She sings in the church choir and spends her free time volunteering. To her classmates, Jamie is strange, an object of mockery and disdain. But what most don't see is her unwavering sense of self. Jamie isn't trying to fit in. She knows exactly who she is. These two people, one living in the shadow of a broken family and social expectations, the other in the light of faith and quiet strength, are on a collision course neither of them expects. One night, Landon and his friends plan a reckless initiation ritual for a hopeful new member of their group. The plan involves sneaking onto school property and jumping into a restricted water tower pool. Landon is meant to play the part of the leader, cool, composed, daring. But things go terribly wrong. The boy is seriously injured and the police get involved. Landon is caught, and the principal, who's had enough of his antics, decides that traditional punishment won't do. Landon is sentenced to mandatory community service, tutoring underprivileged students, helping with school janitorial duties, and most horrifying to him, participating in the school's spring play. It's a complete humiliation. His friends mock him, and he has to face the derision of peers he once ruled over. But there's one familiar face in all of these activities: Jamie Sullivan. Jamie volunteers for everything. She's at the tutoring sessions, she helps organize props for the play, and she does it all with a sense of purpose that mystifies Landon. He tries to ignore her, but slowly they begin to talk. First about the play, then about life. Jamie agrees to help Landon learn his lines, but not without a caveat. She looks at him and says, quite seriously, "You have to promise you won't fall in love with me." Landon laughs. How could he ever fall for Jamie Sullivan? He barely knows her, and what he thinks he does know, he's always dismissed. But Jamie isn't joking. The line lingers in the air, dismissed at the moment, but remembered later with deep significance. Rehearsals continue, and Landon begins to notice things he never saw before. Jamie is intelligent, creative, kind. She's not self-righteous, just quietly devout. She doesn't need approval, which makes her all the more fascinating. Landon's world, once filled with shallow conversations and empty pastimes, starts to feel meaningless in comparison. And then comes the play. On the night of the performance, the school auditorium is packed. Landon walks on stage nervous, but Jamie's entrance silences the room. She wears a soft, flowing dress, her hair cascading around her shoulders. When she sings, her voice is clear and beautiful, filled with unspoken emotion. Landon, in character, is supposed to look captivated, but he is captivated. For the first time, he sees Jamie not as the preacher's daughter or the school outcast, but as someone breathtaking. From that moment, his attention turns fully to her. He seeks her out, talks to her at school, asks her questions, spends time with her. At first, Jamie is skeptical. She knows Landon's history and questions his intentions, but he proves persistent. Slowly, carefully, she lets him in. Some in. They begin spending afternoons together, walking and talking, building quiet rituals that become the foundation of their relationship. Jamie shares her dreams. She wants to be in two places at once. She wants to witness a miracle. She wants to get a tattoo. Landon listens, intrigued and enchanted. He begins making her dreams come true. One day, Landon surprises Jamie by standing on the state line with one foot in Virginia and one in North Carolina, helping her be in two places at once. It's silly, sweet, and deeply meaningful. Another time, he arranges for her to get a temporary butterfly tattoo. Each act of kindness chips away at Jamie's defenses. Landon also begins to change in other ways. He studies harder. He apologizes to those he's wronged. He even begins to pray. He becomes someone his own mother barely recognizes: mature, thoughtful, kind. The change is so evident that his friends start to pull away, no longer able to relate to him. Eventually, he tells Jamie he loves her, and she freezes. She doesn't say it back. Instead, she walks away. It's devastating, but not because she doesn't feel the same way. It's because she does, and she's been hiding a terrible secret. When Jamie finally opens up, it's not in anger or drama. It's in sorrow. She tells Landon the truth. She has leukemia. She was diagnosed months ago. The treatments have stopped working. Her time is short. Landon is devastated. The world seems to fall apart. He can't understand how someone so full of life, so giving and kind, could be facing death. He questions everything: faith, fate, love itself. But through the pain, he doesn't abandon her, staying in her. He stays. And in staying, he becomes someone truly remarkable. He dedicates himself to making her remaining days meaningful. He supports her through her illness, shields her from pity, and continues checking off her dream list. Desperate to do more, Landon reaches out to the one person he never thought he'd turn to: his father. He asks for help to provide Jamie with at-home medical care. The conversation is tense, strained by years of silence and resentment. But his father agrees, moved by his son's sincerity and Jamie's story. This moment begins the healing between them. Landon starts to see his father not just as the man who left, but as a human being who made mistakes. In helping Jamie, his father also helps Landon mend a part of himself. Meanwhile, Jamie weakens. Her body grows frail, but her spirit remains strong. She tells Landon that she's not afraid of dying, only of not having lived. And Landon, heartbroken but inspired, makes a decision. He proposes. Jamie is stunned. She never expected to be loved like this, not at the end of her life. She accepts. Their wedding is small, held in her father's church. She walks down the aisle in her mother's dress, radiant despite her illness. It's a moment of quiet triumph, proof that love, even in the face of death, can be beautiful and strong. They become husband and wife. Their time as a married couple is short but sweet. They read together, lie under the stars, and talk for hours. There is laughter even amid the tears. And as the days pass, Landon holds on to every second. Eventually, Jamie passes away. The film does not dwell on her death. Instead, it leaves us with a lasting imprint she made on everyone she touched, especially Landon. 4 years later, Landon returns to Beaufort. He visits Reverend Sullivan to thank him for allowing him to love Jamie and for giving him the chance to change. Landon is no longer a lost teenager. He's been accepted to medical school, inspired by Jamie's compassion and strength. He confesses that he never gave Jamie the miracle she longed for. Reverend Sullivan smiles softly and replies, as she did, "It was you." Landon leaves a man transformed. He carries Jamie's love with him, not just as a memory, but as a living part of his soul. In the film's final moments, Landon's voice narrates, "A Jamie saved my life. She taught me everything about life, hope, and the long journey ahead. And then our love is like the wind. I can't see it, but I can feel it.